family. Isn't that right? I just had to zoom in on that. That is always on my center table, guys. Reminds me why I do what I do and why I breathe. So today, guys, the video I'm about to do is very short. It's gonna be, how do you take care of air plants? Now, I know, I'm sure most of you have seen air plants before. I mean, you can pretty much see them anywhere and everywhere. These days, they're not hard to find. Ignore my painting that I've got rolled up inside my table. I gotta get that framed. Anyway, so here's an example, of course, of an air plant. Okay, let's get that zoomed in properly. There we go. So I have them, as you've probably seen before, on my Instagram and elsewhere, displayed within a little terrarium right here. So they stay here and they're happy. They're in indirect light, which, as you can see, there's my big bright window here. It's south facing. It's extremely bright, so the plants get a lot of light just sitting here. Excuse my finger, on the table. I also have a bigger one that's sitting here. It's a different type. They're all different, I think, species, I guess. Variety of an air plant. The proper name is Tillandsia. And they're fun to grow because, I mean, look at that, right? I mean, people get them simply because they're cool. Why? Because they don't require any soil to grow. You can literally put them on something and just watch them do their thing. So this morning I'm going to show you guys how I water them. And it's very simple, straightforward, which is why I say it's going to be a very short video. So I have my water right here in my watering can. I have this special little container that I got from some other, can't even remember how I got it, but it's just there. And you're probably thinking, why doesn't he just fill this up with water from the tap? But no, I use room temperature water. I have left the water in the watering can overnight. Okay, so this water that I just poured in here is totally room temperature now. Okay, so all I do today, I'm not gonna fertilize. Sometimes I do fertilize them. Today I won't. I use orchid fertilizer, FYI, to water my to fertilize the Tillandsias. So any orchid fertilizer is pretty good to use. You can also use Miracle-Gro, but you've got to really dilute it really well so you don't accidentally burn the plants. So all I do is I put the water in there and I drop in the plants. It's that simple, okay? Take them all out and just drop them in the water. Bury them in the water. Make sure they get in there. You're going to make sure they get nice and soaking wet, just like that. I'm going to move this watering can out of the way. And the tall one, I do it upside down. Now, I could go back to the tap, you know, and just, I might actually pour some more water in here. Obviously, it won't be room temperature, but when you get water from the tap, make sure it's tepid water or just lukewarm. You don't want to put cold water in any type of tropical plant. These plants are from nice, warm, sometimes arid or what's the word I'm looking for? Rainforest, you know. So all the places in the world where it's nice and hot or really warm is where you'll find Tillandsias, right? So the last thing you want to do is dump them in cold water. And what you want to do is, whether you soak them, you have two options. You can either soak them, and I do both. Today, the only reason I'm going to soak them is because I have not watered these plants at all for the entire, excuse me, for the entire week. So I'm just going to let them sit in this container with the water for quite some time. Now that I've wet the tip of this tall one, only because I'm too lazy to go back to the tap. Sorry guys, I have a bit of a cough. Especially when I talk. Yeah, so now that I've wet the tips, I don't know if you noticed, but it went from being silver to green. Tillandsias have the ability to just soak up water through their leaves, obviously, because they don't really need roots to soak up water. Their roots don't do that really. The roots are really to anchor themselves to trees or rocks or whatever other object they find themselves on. or a piece of wood or whatever you want to put them on or in. They can root to them, but that's just for anchoring. So really the leaves of the Tillandsia or air plant, whatever you want to call it, is what takes up the moisture, okay? It is recommended that you try and mist them regularly. I normally would do that, but I was lazy this week, and frankly they would do better if you didn't water them too much than if you overwater them, because they'll probably rot, which I have done to a couple of others in the past. So that's it, guys. You basically let them sit, and you can I'm gonna leave them in here for a while. This one loves water, okay, but what I do after I water them, I just turn them upside down, either drain them in a piece of paper towel, okay, or shake it really well so that all the water that's sitting in the inside of the plant, okay, in between all the leaves, see if I can get this to zoom, focus I should say, yeah, the water will sit inside the leaves, guys, and if it sits there for too long, it will cause rot. So what I do is I make sure the plant is upside down after I've watered them, and basically let them drain, okay, or I shake them vigorously, which is what I normally do anyway. If I'm in a rush, I don't bother with draining on paper. This one, same thing, okay. Now I don't know if you noticed, but this Tillandsia is kind of lopsided. See that? It's grown unevenly. Like one side is more, I don't know, bushy or out than the other. That's because I failed to turn it towards the sun on all sides. So another tip for growing Tillandsias is to make sure you rotate them so that they form evenly, so they don't have a sort of lopsided looking Tillandsia like mine, if you care, right? Now the last one in there is this one, which I think is like one of my favorites. It's such a weird looking, it looks like grass, right? Isn't that cool? Looks like grass. Isn't that pretty? Yeah, so what I do, this one is very sensitive, I should mention. What I do is I make sure that the tips do not get a lot of light, like direct sun, because my living room where these grow, guys, like I said, is very bright. It's a south facing window, so it's bright all day long, and you have to be careful not to burn your Tillandsias like I've done in the past. So what I do is I make sure they're in the terrarium and away from the window. They're about almost 6 feet away from the window, so a good distance, and that seems to keep them happy. Light, but not like hot sunlight, okay? So yeah, that's it, guys. Soak your Tillandsias, and then once you finished soaking them for about an hour, you know, if they're pretty dry and you haven't watered them in a while, I would suggest soak them for about an hour. You could actually do it longer than that. Like I've actually forgotten my Tillandsias in water almost an entire day and nothing happened. So as long as you let them dry out after you do that, they'll be fine. Okay, so guys, take care of your air plants. Just because they call air plants doesn't mean that they don't require care, and they do require more than air to live, okay? They do need you to water them regularly but correctly, and occasionally drop some fertilizer in the water. Make sure it's highly diluted fertilizer, because you will burn them with the fertilizer if you put a high dose. And give them I would say indirect sunlight, but bright light, okay? A north window I don't think would be the best, but definitely south is probably the best, as long as it's away from the hot sun, okay? Alright guys, that's my little tip video for today. Thank you for watching. God bless you. God loves you. I love you. Love each other. Casey in the city. Out.